The body of the former pontiff is now at St. Peter's Basilica, according to Pope Benedict's longtime private secretary. The German-born Pope's final words were, "Lord, I love you." Joining us now from Rome is Andreas Thonhauser, EWTN Vatican Bureau Chief. Andreas, good to see you. Can you set the scene for us right now? What is taking place at the Vatican and also around St. Peter's Square?
I've heard from today onwards, from 9 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Rome time, they already counted more than 40,000 pilgrims coming here. Many of them have been in the city, many Italians, of course, also. But we are hearing of many people who are coming now into the city to spend some time now with Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI and also being with him for his funeral on the 5th of January.
And speaking of that, Andres, what are the plans for the funeral and over the next few days?
So, as I said, there will be lines forming every day now until the 5th of January of faithful who will just take their time to pray. Also today in the Basilica, it was actually very emotional to see all those people, families, children, young people, but also older people, experts on his teachings, on his theology, who were just there. You could recognize people from, that you usually see on TV or so, coming, paying their tributes. Giorgia Meloni was there today, the Italian president, Sergio Mattarella. So, and we expect more and more people coming, heads of state as well. There are only 2 official delegations for the funeral that will be there. It's the Italian and the German state delegation. But we know of many other presidents and head of states who are planning to come here, and of course many faithful who just want to say their last goodbyes as well.
Talk to us about the legacy that Pope Benedict leaves behind.
I've spoken to many people, also to his private secretary, Archbishop Genswein, asking him exactly that question, and other people who accompanied him along the way, who have studied his books, his many writings, his reflections on theology. And there are really 2 main things, I think, that will be his legacy. One, his theology, his theological thinking, his philosophical thinking, where he tried to explain that really faith and reason are not opposed to each other. Sciences and faith are not 2 worlds apart from each other, but that we can approach God, that we can approach the divine also through our intellectual capacity. It's something that he did, and even though he was a very high and highly educated, well-studied man, he managed to break it down also simple, in simple words for the people, for the masses. So many told us also over the last days that actually it was really through reading Benedict XVI's texts and books and essays that they found a way to approach the church, to also open their heart for Jesus. And the other thing is his personality. He was, as somebody said, a gentleman who was also a gentle man. And even Pope Francis, in his first public appearance after the death of Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI at the Vespers, at the year end on 31st of December, he said that Pope Francis' gentleness, he focused in his whole homily on gentleness, and then said also Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI was a very gentle man, and his great testimony was really the way he lived his faith, the way he took it seriously and authentically lived a life of prayer, especially also after his resignation. Pope Francis mentioned this in particular, that this was probably his greatest testimony, his life of prayer, his testimony to faith in those years where he was really living more in silence in the monastery Mater Ecclesiae.
And Andreas, we're almost out of time, but I'm curious, quickly, what are some of your personal reflections and memories of the Pope Emeritus?
Well, I personally owe very, very much to Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI. As Pope Francis said as well before Christmas, he's really a saint, and I absolutely believe that with all his writings, with the way he lived his life, that he is a personal role model for me of how to follow Jesus more closely. And I was very, very grateful of being able to say a personal goodbye in front of him also yesterday and today, and being close to him. And I'm sure that he's now praying for all of us, overlooking this, being with us also here in his final moments where people are saying their goodbyes, saying their farewells here in Rome.
Well, Andreas, thank you so much for your coverage. We appreciate it. Andreas Thonhauser, EWTN Vatican Bureau Chief. Thank you again.